Hey guys, welcome to the channel, and today I'm going to be showing you my current metal guitar collection. I'm going to talk a little bit about each one. Just before we get into everything, I quickly want to mention my Bullet for My Valentine guitar lesson library, which is over on my Patreon page. This is my ever-growing in-depth series of Bullet for My Valentine guitar lessons where I break each song down and teach you all the guitar parts. Members of the library also get to request what songs I go over, so if you go on over there and you don't see the song that you want to learn, get yourself signed up, put your request in, and you'll get full priority on what I do. So if you love Bullet for My Valentine just as much as I do, head on over to my Patreon page, link is in description, and get learning. Okay, let's talk guitars. Encore Stratocaster. So this one isn't really a metal guitar per se, but I thought it'd be really important to mention this one because it's basically where everything started for me. My nan bought me this guitar when I was about 14 years of age, and as soon as I picked it up, I immediately felt the connection and knew it was something I wanted to pursue. So this is a very special guitar because I learned all my first riffs on it. It's been there right the way through me discovering music, discovering Metallica, Bullet for My Valentine and all that stuff. And then years later, I even used this guitar for teaching, which is my day job. As it's nice and light to sit with, I don't mind throwing it around so much. And after a little bit of setting up, it plays pretty well. Nowadays, it just lives in my bedroom upstairs. It's pretty much the first thing I see in the morning when I get up, and it's just like a little reminder for me of where it all started. So yeah, this is a very, very important guitar, and I owe pretty much where I'm at now with everything to this guitar. Jackson Matt Tuck Signature. So I get a lot of questions about this guitar, namely, where on earth did I find one, where did I get it? And the answer is quite simple. I got this when it was literally in stores back around 2011 or something like that. So obviously being absolutely Bullet for My Valentine obsessed when I was younger, and who am I kidding, still am, right? But obviously back in the day when it was all fresh and new, the idea of owning a Matt Tuck signature guitar was absolutely huge for me. So being around sort of 17, 18 years of age, I saved and saved and saved. And I managed to get this with a hard case for around £800, which is absolutely insane considering what these go for now, if you can find one. This guitar went absolutely everywhere with me at the time, so I'm actually surprised by how good a condition it is, but I do like to look after my guitars to the best of my ability. But yeah, I learned a lot of my sort of style on this guitar, and I learned a lot of the heavy metal craft, if you like. It was also my first real high-spec guitar as well that had EMG pickups in it, which I'd always wanted because of Metallica at the time. It's never been played live because it is quite delicate. You know, it feels quite lightweight, and it's really easy to ding up, but it does make appearances on the channel every now and then when I do shorts and cut guitar covers. Now, I will say, after all these years, this isn't actually my favorite guitar that I own, and I hate to upset a lot of you Bullet for My Valentine fans out there, but it's actually not really the best sounding guitar that I own. It feels a little lightweight, it sounds a little thin after playing much bigger guitars and more full body guitars for so long now. But it is really great when it comes to sort of like lead playing. There's just nothing to hold you back getting up to the high access there. It's got a super thin neck profile, which is nice and wide, so it's very easy to play when doing guitar solos. So yeah, I guess tastes change as you get older, but I still do enjoy playing it every now and then when I break it out, and again, it has a lot of nostalgia for me. BC Rich Matt Tuck Signature. Okay, so these are my main workhorses when it comes to playing guitar and pretty much everything I do that's channel related or musically related as well. And the big question is, why do I have two, I guess, and I will explain now after I put one of these down. So again, I get asked a lot of questions on where these guitars actually came from and how I got my hands on them. My answer is exactly the same for this first one right here. This is my OG one, if you like, and again, I literally got it when it was available in stores. I had to pre-order it at the time. I obviously saw that Matt had moved to BC Rich and he was playing this sort of strange series of like custom guitars that they built for him before this thing came out. But then when it came out, as soon as I saw it, I was like, yeah, I've never seen anything like that before in my life. Just, you know, right the way down from the big scoop on the V there to the six-a-side headstock. And obviously, being a big Matt Tuck fanboy at the time, you know, I think I knew it was something that I wanted to have. I got this around 2013, I want to say, and yeah, it's still in pretty good condition considering the fact that I've absolutely battered this thing and played it a lot. So years later, around 2021, 2022, I found another one that was sat on Facebook Marketplace at the bottom end of the country. So I thought to myself, wouldn't it be a really good idea to have two of these since I love this one so much, so I don't have to think about swapping guitars when I change tuning. These are the guitars that I'm most comfortable playing, and they're probably what you guys who've been on the channel for a while now know me for. They sound great, they fit my body really well when I'm sat down and I'm stood up as well, as the Flying V is my favorite shape, and they look absolutely incredible. So my older one, which is this one, this is my drop A guitar, okay? I use this for my band, A Lost Cause, and everything sort of related to drop A tuning. It's been in a lot of music videos. And then my new one back there, that's my drop C guitar and D standard guitar, and that gets used on the channel quite a bit for my Valentine lessons and covers and all that sort of stuff. Epiphone Lee Malia Signature Explorer. Okay, so this guitar has always been a little bit of a strange one for me because it's just so different to all the others. However, of course, being a huge Metallica fan, I've always loved the Explorer shape. So when Lee Malia, who's one of my favorite guitar players, put this out, I just knew I had to have one, especially at the price point that it was going for at the time, which was like 600 quid. I've always been a huge fan of binding on guitars as it just gives them so much more profile when you're looking at them, I think. And yeah, I mean, just look at this. It just looks so classy, especially with the gold hardware. Like I said, it has always been a bit of a strange one and an enigma in my collection because I've never really known what to do with it tuning-wise and what to specifically use it for. I originally bought it back in 2017, I think, again, when it was on shelves. And I wanted a guitar for drop tuning to do like bring me stuff, so like drop A sharp and stuff like that. But unfortunately, this guitar doesn't really take to tuning that well at all. And it doesn't really intonate that well down there, so I'm not too sure if it's just this guitar or it's the run of them, but yeah, that kind of left it in a bit of a void, if you like, because it's like, okay, so if we're not tuning down to A sharp, like, what shall I actually do with it? I did use it as my drop C guitar for another band that I was in last year for some live shows. So ever since then, it's pretty much just stayed there, and it seems to work in that tuning. It doesn't get played too often now, but like I said, it has made it to live shows quite a few times, and it is in music videos as well. One thing I do like about this guitar is it sounds so different to all my other go-tos, you know, the typical EMG 81 ebony fretboard loaded guitars, you know. So yeah, it's a super unique guitar, hard to find nowadays, and it really looks the part. LTD James Hetfield Snakebyte. Okay, so this one speaks for itself. Those who know me know that Metallica is my favorite band of all time, and James Hetfield is my favorite guitar player. So in around 2018, I was going through a pretty rough time. I was super miserable. I was heavily depressed, and I was in a factory job at the time, which I hated. My personal life was a bit of a mess, and I was in this sort of weird transitional period. And I thought one day when I got up, you know what, screw it. I'm going to do something that makes me happy. And what brings more happiness and joy than a new guitar, right? So I thought, what makes me happy? James Hetfield, Metallica, guitars. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to buy myself a Snakebyte. But it wasn't that simple finding one of these guitars in white, which of course it had to be for sort of the true Hetfield look, right? So this is actually a bit of a rescue guitar, if you want to put it that way, as the sellers had this down as B stock, but they didn't really know what was wrong with it. It was literally sat in a warehouse doing absolutely nothing, but I spoke to them and they assured me that it was in absolutely perfect condition. I spoke to the guy on the phone, he said, yeah, I've got it here, I'm looking it up and down, it looks absolutely fine to me, so if you want us to send it out to you, we can. So when it finally got here and I unboxed it, it was like, yeah, this thing seems absolutely fine, what's wrong with it? And when I plugged it in, I soon found out what was wrong, and all that was wrong was the pickups were in the wrong way around, so the neck was in the bridge and vice versa, right? So that was a very quick and easy fix. So I basically got myself a Hetfield guitar for a fraction of the price, which is basically brand new and in perfect condition. It plays great, but I would say this is more of a standing up guitar for me because when I'm sat with it, it is quite big and clunky, right? And I don't like picking with my arm all the way back here. I burn out super quick. So yeah, this is more of like a standing up stage sort of guitar for me, if you like. And it, because of the shape and the color and everything, when you are stood up with it, it makes you feel super good and super empowered. So again, Metallica, James Hetfield, guitars getting me through the darkest times as always. If you want the full story on all of these guitars, by the way, go over to my Me and My Guitars playlist and you can see what they actually sound like, and I talk more in depth about them. So if you want to check that out, just head over to my playlists. Charvel Jimroot San Dimas. So like I said, when I started teaching again, I was using my Encore Strat, my first guitar. It's a nice neutral looking guitar, and it doesn't look sort of like too much when you're taking lessons, and it's not going to scare people off, right? However, some of my clients started to get some really nice guitars, and basically I started to feel a little bit left out, if you like. So I thought to myself, you know what, you've been doing this for a while now. Why don't you get something really nice as your everyday guitar for teaching with that's a real workhorse and that you can just pick up and play. I wanted to keep with the Strat shape as they're just so comfortable when you sat down, and I was used to it at that point. And obviously Jim Root from Slipknot and Stone Sour came to mind. So this is kind of me coming full circle in a way, if you like, you know, starting off on a Strat guitar, which funnily enough I hated at the time, because when I started to get an idea about music and I saw Metallica and James with his big fat guitars and stuff like that, and Matt Tuck with his Flying V's, you know, the idea of a Stratocaster just isn't metal, right? But so there's kind of like a sense of irony here, me starting off on that Strat and then, you know, going and buying these big fat guitars over the years, and then now ending up back on a Strat, right? But it's got all the heavy metal specs in it. I really don't want to have to think when I pick a guitar up and I start work, and I just need it to be in tune and ready to go. And what can I say? This thing is absolutely solid as a rock. It just doesn't move. I don't tune this thing, which is absolutely crazy. You know, I can just leave it, I can play it, and then come back to it the next day, and it's still in tune. And obviously that kind of speaks for itself, because this is a Jim Root signature guitar. He plays in Slipknot. A lot goes on stage, right? So he needs guitars that are built to last, basically, and I think they nailed it with this one. So yeah, all in all, this is continuing to be a fantastic workhorse for me, and I literally can't put it down. Fender Jim Root Jazzmaster. So this is the latest addition to my collection, and for those of you who have been on the channel for a while now and saw my recent videos, you'll know about the absolute faff I had with actually getting this thing here, along with a couple of other problems I had once it finally got here. There's a full unboxing video as well as a follow-up video on the channel, so if you guys want to see my reaction to unboxing this thing, just head back a couple of videos and you'll find it there. So obviously, being a big fan of Jim Root, I went into full-on Slipknot mode this year, and I was putting some Slipknot content out, but I was thinking to myself, wouldn't it be cool to have a dedicated Slipknot drop B guitar? Obviously, the Charvel was non-negotiable because I need that to stay in A440 for teaching, so I guess that was a good enough excuse to go ahead and buy another guitar, right? It's got a super dark sound to it, which I guess kind of figures, being what it is, and it also really encourages good clean playing, just the way it sits on your lap and stuff like that. I'm still getting to know this guitar a little bit, as it is fairly new, but I'm really looking forward to continuing to grow with it and getting to know it a little bit better. Again, if you want more details on this, just go watch my my unboxing video and the follow-up one. So there you go, guys, that's my heavy metal guitar collection. Like I said earlier, if you want to see more details on these guitars and in-depth videos, just head on over to my Me and My Guitars playlist, and there's pretty much a video for each one of them, and you'll be able to hear the stories behind them and hear what they sound like. So that's the video. If you enjoyed it, as always, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new here. If you want all of my Valentine guitar lessons, be sure to check out my Patreon page, and I guess until next time, I will see you guys in the next one. Take care, guys. Peace.